sorry for the wait. We're trying to connect all the technical aspects, but shortly we will be starting even with your presentation. So maybe meantime, we already have people in the room, as you can see, and I will introduce your presentation as you will the first one. We have Ivan Christo from New Bulgarian University, presenting very intriguing session, experiential learning task examples in teaching advertising. And I say it's really intriguing because in the abstract description, I found something really interesting, like giving out chocolate to students to motivate them and asking students to draw their own food. So Ivan, I'm really waiting for your explanation and more details about your research. However, we still, I think, can't see. We can see your presentation now on our laptops, but we still are waiting for the big screen to be operational because it somehow doesn't connect. And also, I have to tell that I will be watching the time quite strictly. So, dear presenters, please mind the timings. I will be showing you the minutes you have left, and probably we'll have to also shorten slightly the question times so we can make sure to finish by 11. Okay. Ivan, we're really, really close, so don't give up. Don't give up.
I won't.
We are here. Oh yes, we can see your presentation. Can you scroll the second slide just to see if it works? Just to make a test. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, I will. Okay, so thank you very much. Ivan, the floor is yours. We are listening.
Thank you. So as previously mentioned, my name is Ivan Hristov. I'm an assistant professor and a PhD student at New Bulgarian University in Sofia. My presentation today is related to experiential learning tasks in teaching advertising, because that's the main subject that I'm teaching at the university. Let me see just how, yes. So, advertising, design, communications, marketing are particularly dynamic businesses, and the competition is fierce. That's why the education in these fields of marketing and advertising is supposed to be unconventional. It should be diverse, interesting for our students, which means that a dynamic business implies a dynamic style of learning, which should be non-typical, engaging, and innovative for sure. For my presentation today, I will cover several examples of experiential learning tasks that I designed specifically for some of my courses at the university. My thinking here comes from the perspective of my students, how to explain a complex topic through a hands-on task which involves experience. I conducted a short online survey among my students who completed the courses in order to determine their explicit attitudes and opinions towards the specific experiential tasks that I use in their lectures. What experiential learning tasks would bring to the table in a classroom? Implementing some kind of game-like elements during lectures might actually increase the engagement of students and improve their motivation to work in pairs or in groups, or their motivation for learning as usual. So making participants increase their attention and definitely create positive emotions. Why positive emotions are important in that case? Because the good affective state is considered a great base for better retention of information, because the limbic system of the brain is the place where both the emotions and implementation of memory are processed, and that's why it is very important in what environment and what is the effect of moment at the lecture, during the lecture. These studies that I have here shown first start with several examples of what exactly are my experiential tasks that I use. The first one is called Draw Me a Shoe. This one is a specific task that I use for students who study graphic design, and they have the first class on advertising at our university. The aim is to show a creative twist on what advertising is and what advertising isn't, because in the minds of these graphic design students, usually advertising is not a specific concept. Every student is given a sheet of paper and several color markers, and I have a simple instruction for them. It's just, please take off your left shoe. Usually there is some kind of stupor among students because it's not an ordinary situation at the university. And they don't believe that that's the real thing that I want from them. And I continue, okay, take off the right one instead. That's the moment then when they are supposed to remove the hesitation, and they understand that I'm not joking and I really want them to remove one of their shoes. They are supposed to put the shoe on the table, which is later to be cleaned, and they should draw their shoe in 5 minutes time. And they start drawing. When the students are ready, I ask them, what do you have right now on your sheet of paper? And usually the answer is pretty correct. They respond they have just a drawing of a shoe. For now, it's just a piece of art. Later, I ask them to put the logo of the brand on the shoe, and they do it. And I explain to them that for the moment they have a product. The simple drawing became a drawing of a product with a specific brand. Later, I ask them to add the slogan of the brand, if they know it. And they add any kind of slogan they can come up with if they don't know the original one. And I explain to them that now they have an advertisement. Later, I ask them to put a price tag to the product, and this way they finally have a marketing offer. This is how I start explaining what advertising is, what art is, and what are the points that they spread their ways. My second example is probably one of the most loved by my students. It is called a figure of speech. This experiential task is a part of a course dedicated to psychological aspects of advertising. The students don't know the specific topic of the lecture in advance. At the very beginning, I ask for volunteers for assistance. I divide them into 2 pairs. Every team member is supposed to sit back to back, and they have 2 tables in front of them. Neither of the team members can see what is on the table of the other person. I put Montessori block figures as the one you can see built up right on the screen. One of the students, which is called the communicator, receives a figure which is built from such Montessori blocks. The other participant of the team, which is called the builder, receives a scattered colored elements, many more than the needed for this figure here. The task for the builders is to arrange correctly the original figure which is in front of the communicator's eyes. The communicators must give the clearest briefest and easiest descriptions and instructions how their teammates are supposed to build this figure without seeing it. The builders are only allowed to ask questions which require a yes or no answer, and the audience, the other students in the room, are not supposed to give any hints or to help out the different teams, and no peeking over shoulder is allowed. There is a time competition, which of the two teams will be the first one to say, yes, we are ready. The audience has the task to observe sequentially both teams without interfering in the task's execution. And the idea here is to see what a communication strategy will be implemented by the two teams. The situation here ends with me asking, what did we just observe? What was this situation? And usually the students pretty quickly realize it is a communication situation, which involves selection of means of expression, cognitive abilities, handling of language, and so on and so on. This task is an excellent metaphor for the world of advertising specialists because they can see the finished picture, and their task is to try to convey this finished picture to the minds of their audience, which will be the main job description of my students in advertising. The third and final example for today, I have several more examples in my article, but I don't have the time to present all of them to you today. The third one is called a box of chocolate dissonance. Again, it's a part of my psychological aspects of advertising course. Usually, psychology defines cognitive dissonance as a state of mental tension which arises whenever an individual simultaneously holds two cognitive elements that are in conflict. These elements might be related to knowledge or thoughts or attitudes, experiences, demonstrated behavior, and so on and so on. Again, students don't know what the topic of the upcoming lecture is. It's very important because they will be reacting in a different way if they knew that we were speaking about cognitive dissonance in this lecture. So they don't know about it, and I enter the room and offer them a box of chocolates. In Bulgaria, it's a common tradition when someone has a name day or birthday or any specific occasion to offer chocolates to their teammates, classmates, schoolmates, and so on and so on. So it's not a strange situation to offer chocolate to the students. And the students are invited to help themselves with no further clarification what the occasion is at that specific moment. And they are asked, did you like your chocolates? And usually they respond that they feel very good, they're satisfied with the free chocolate. Who won't be satisfied with free chocolate? So then I ask on the screen some more information. I remind them that chocolate contains cocoa, which has high levels of beneficial antioxidants, which is a piece of positive information. But I also remind them that chocolate contains a lot of sugar, which is a piece of negative information. So here comes the conflict between positive previously known information and negative previously known information, and we have the behavior of eating these chocolates. Sugar, as I remind them in the next slides, that there are different studies which confirm that sugar is associated with weight gain, depression, wrinkling of the skin, diabetes type 2, memory impairment, and many other negative consequences of eating too much sugar. And
Ivan, I just have to remind you have only 3 minutes left.
Okay, so so they feel discomfort and irritation. So this is how I demonstrate cognitive dissonance in the classroom. So what methodology I used, I decided to check out if these experiential learning tasks are considered as an innovative form of teaching according to my students. I used an online explicit questionnaire with Likert scales and close-ended questions. What the results are, my hypothesis was confirmed that these tasks are recognized as a successful method of innovating teaching and are very well perceived by my students. As you can see, the percentages here, a huge percentage, 86% of them believe that these tasks contribute to better retention of the study material, and they do prefer courses with such experiential learning tasks implemented. They find it very useful and very interesting to have such experiential learning tasks. 79% share that they feel more motivated to learn when there is an ELT task in the courses, and they report positive emotions which are related to better memorizing, as we saw from previous researches. They share that they speak about their experiences with such tasks with other students or with their relatives or friends outside of the classroom, and they believe that these tasks enhance their engagement of the attention. They recommend these courses with such tasks, and they attend more often and more lectures compared to other classes. So the conclusions here are that these tasks are very well accepted and they seem successful according to students. They are considered innovative in their view. And my final line is that we should not underestimate the power of a well-designed experiential learning task, because students are very prone to react to such tasks, and they feel positive emotions and they remember the material better if we use such tasks in our curriculum. Thank you, and I hope that the time is not up yet.
The time is not out of you. Thank you very much, Iva, for your insightful presentation. I already have this cognitive dissonance. I think during the coffee break, when there will be some coffee and chocolate, I will be confused. So thank you for the reminder that sugar is negative. But we have time for, I think, 1-2 questions from the audience. So would you like to have some questions to Ivan? I have one question, because obviously as teachers, we have limited resources. Your design seems to be very time consuming. How do you manage preparation of such activities, or was it mainly aimed at research outcomes, or do you have a method to do this kind of things quickly, efficiently?
Yes, actually, I usually put such tasks and implement such tasks in almost any of my lectures. So it's not just for the research. I use this for several years now. Actually, they take up to 20-25 minutes. In Bulgaria, lectures are for an hour and a half. So I believe that I have plenty of time doing this, and I believe that if these tasks take a bit longer period of time, it's not a problem, because the main goal of these tasks is to teach the student what the quintessence of the topic is. I want them just to go out of the room knowing what cognitive dissonance is, and later I have a lot of time during the lecture to cover the specifics, the special cases, and different examples. So usually I have enough time.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the room? No. Thank you once again, Ivan, for this presentation. We will read more details in the paper, but keep going with this wonderful stuff. It would be nice to be your student.
Thank you.
Now we have next presentation in the program. We have face-to-face presentation by Jose Alexis Alonso Sanchez. However, I'm just wondering whether maybe it would be more practical to do the online session, another online session. So let me just check with Ralitza and Kirill. Are you ready to present now? Or
yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
because we had
I'm
these technical
ready.
problems, we changed the program slightly, so we done all the online, and then we don't have to worry about technical problems. So sorry for the wait, but
No.
we eager to hear from you. This is the presentation about approaches and key indicators for evaluating the outcomes of project-based learning in VET, and we have Ralitsa Velinova and Kirill
Yes.
Radev, the authors of the project from New Bulgarian University. So please, floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Ralitsa Velinova, and I'm a PhD student in the Administration and Management Department at New Bulgarian University. Today, I'd like to discuss a highly contested topic regarding approaches and key indicators for evaluating project-based learning outcomes in VET. Before that, I would like to say that I'll only briefly talk about numbers and won't focus on any details, although I hope I'll give you enough information about our research. As you can see, the presentation is structured into 5 main components, and this structure will guide our discussion and ensure a comprehensive understanding of the topic. Here you can see that the issue we are about to delve in is quite essential in the context of vocational education and training. And I personally believe that understanding and evaluating project-based learning outcomes is a crucial, I can say, aspect that we all need to address. Because innovative professional training in the age of technical progress has absolutely multiple elements. And as you can see, the effects of globalization and technological innovation increase the need for modern VET techniques to integrate every aspect of the training system. I believe that this underscores the importance of appropriately evaluating innovative training methods. And I also believe that here's why project-based learning and different approaches to its evaluation are crucial for the modern vocational education. Here you can see that, probably not surprisingly, multiple international organizations and different authors have tried to identify the nature of PBA and key performance indicators over the years. Although there are several different definitions, this talk will focus only on a few of them. All mentioned authors and organizations define PBL as based on action way of learning, which means that the learning process is organized and guided by a single project. At the same time, you can see that the key performance indicators in professional training have been remarkably dynamic over the years. And the reason, of course, is the technical innovation and globalization, which necessitate vocational training to evolve alongside them. And of course, achieving this goal requires appropriate indicators to evaluate the results of innovative ed practices. And I can only say that according to the European Commission, some essential and widely used indicators are connected with investments, completion rate, and many more, of course. Here you can see that our research design drew on information from several different resources. The first one, comprehensive data provided by the study participants based on an online questionnaire specifically prepared for the study, and of course a study of Bulgaria's national VET system and providers. The questionnaire was administered to 216 professionals working in 2 different economic sectors here in Bulgaria from May 2023 to May 2024. The respondents work in the IT and consultancy sector and, of course, have a minimum of 3 years of experience in their respective functional area and have undergone innovative practice within the final year, which is quite important. And here is the interesting part, probably. Based on the obtained results, some trends were established. You can see that evaluating the results of innovative practice in Bulgaria is limited to traditional metrics such as training costs, number of participants, and number of training days, and of course, learner feedback. You can also see that the percentage of the training participants who declare the importance of digital skills is high. And you can also see that the feedback from the learners is also high. But in contrast, the data shows a negative trend in using indicators such as digital skills and collaboration with a team. I personally believe that some possible reasons about these results may stem from budget constraints affecting infrastructure and the adoption of web-based solutions for a digital work environment. Of course, here's the place to say that the outcomes of PBL should be assessed using a combination of financial and non-financial indicators, since the context of real workplaces is, as we all know, subject to change through various influences that cannot always be controlled. And I believe that our results positively show that.
You have only 5 minutes left, please.
Yes. You can see that the pressure for change and the effects within innovative VET practices increase its impact on the participants. For instance, the push for immediate change when learners work independently in virtual space reinforces the need to develop new approaches to effectively deliver VET. And here I can say that the level of abstraction of our study remains high, and I believe a longer term follow-up is necessary to gain a deeper understanding of the state of the studied processes. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We'll be looking for more details in the published paper. And meantime, unfortunately, we don't have much time for questions, but because we need to speed up a little bit because of our technical problems. I wish you good luck with further research, and I'm looking forward to more results and findings from this exciting topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
It must be said that our work is based on the understanding that university professors are looking for ways to strengthen students' motivation, participation too, and engagement in the classroom. And one of the strategies used to achieve this goal is gamification. This document is, my name is Alexis Alonso from the Department of Education, and this document has been worked with Eduardo Quevedo too, and we want to show some of our projects of gamification at the school in our university. Only some of them, because we have several projects, but we pretend that you have an idea that our work. various studies have shown that incorporating gamification at the university setting improve academic performance, motivation, and participation. And the student prefer evidently gamification versus traditional teaching. No? The methodology and projects is aligned with the line of the University of Las Palmas, and we have two objectives: promote the incorporation of new technology and researches, and encourage the use of innovation teaching methodologies. One project is the motivation and emotion in education. Is our innovation group, and it's my group, exactly my group. We pretend to increase the learning experience. It was the development in the Faculty of Educational Sciences. We pretended to impact their motivation. We use Wix as the platform to the structure of the gamification with targets, range, etc. It was a spy school, and the first one was to evaluate the knowledge, and we used a Kahoot, a simple Kahoot. But we went to Wix. It's this screen, and to work a block of contents is family and participation at the school. That we knew that is the most difficult block of contents for the students. The goal of this experiment is to enhance student learning through action that impacts their motivation. And we use Powtoon for the videos, Quizlet, YouTube, Wix, EducaPlay, that we have in this app a lot of resources to apply to Wix. And this is another project from the group of Educational Innovation Group in Marine Sciences. They wanted to improve the participation and motivation, the student engagement too, and they use a question bank, and they try to unite high education and secondary education too. A part of this initiative, they create this question bank with a student involving and as an evaluative activity, selected some of the ocean contest, and they also adapt general knowledge question to present as in a seafair in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. Another work was the Scratch programming language. It facilitates the understanding, engaging way, and increase motivation, and promote the student autonomy. It was with lineal, because it's not my work exactly. It was in engineering, and focuses on linear and affine functions, and another on quadratic function, and a third on exponential function too. And the study involved 30 future students of the first course and employee active teaching methodologies. And I think it's more interesting the results. In general, our projects increase the motivation, the participation, and engagement in the subjects. About the results the academic achieved, it was not significant, because in my project, for example, we increased only 0.1. It's true that the art say that increase a lot, maybe 1-2 points, but in not our case. exactly in the first project, it was a positive impact on the student perception on our learning. We use a questionnaire for this. To learn more through the gamified experience compared to more traditional teaching activities, it was a Likert scale from 1 to 5, and this is the results. Improved academic outcomes, and the experience was rated very positively, 4.43. The other projects, it was an opportunity to carry out educational and awareness-raising activities on environmental topics across different subjects, transfers of knowledge to secondary education institution, and they present here to some communication. The Scratch group, the score is more than 4 in a Likert scale of 1 to 5.2. In all the aspect about methodologies, assessment activities. It was a playful experience too. And no, because I have little time to. And conclusions, the gamification in our university can be beneficial for both faculty and students at the university, improving learning, participation, motivation, promote the skill, some teamwork, especially teamwork, is more effectively and attractively for the students, feasible. They have contributed various communication to InnoEducaTIC, and especially my work, the structure of gamification, this is the SPY training. You can ask me about this. I can send you the structure, and you can use, only you have to change your contents, only your contents, and change, evidently change the language, but it's very easy to use. Now I prefer to use Genially more than Wix, but it's very easy to use too, because it's very it's free. It's important for the students too, and the use is very autonomous too. And I think I should respond to the 10 minutes more or less. If you have some question.
Thank you very much for this presentation. Do we have some questions? Maybe you'd like to explore in detail some of the aspects.
For example, Kahoot, I use Kahoot in every subject that I have. Only for the initial evaluation, only. To connect, to enjoy is to connect with the subjects for the other way, no? But the gamification is the structured gamification only in this block of contents is family and participation at the school, because the structure is very difficult to create at the beginning, no? Okay, it's not only to use a recurse, it's to create the narrative, the range, the rankings too, and it's different. It's not as because the gamification is not only to use research, Kahoot, quizzes, Socrative. Is the structure. This is more difficult, no? And Kahoot is very simple to use. We have a license with the university too to use more with more participants, but the structure is other case. As always, that I can. You're welcome.
And any other questions? Maybe you'd like to ask something. I might have want to ask whether I'm from social sciences, so sometimes very jealous when I see guys from School of Technology or Telecommunication, because you seem to be adapting all these technologies more easily. And you say, oh, it's easy to use. My question is, do you think this outcome of your research would be transferable to other disciplines, for example, social sciences or?
Definitely. In fact, we use this project to train the other professors, and I send them the structure, and then used to in other faculties, in other subjects, and the jam now is another language only, but you can use in engineering, education, medicine.
That's promising. So thank you very much.
I can send you the structure.
Thank you very much. This is certificate for you. We have two authors of this presentation, Jose Alexis Alonso Sanchez and Eduardo Gutierrez.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you very much. And now I would like to welcome Paola Nicolini and Veronica Guardabassi. Veronica is not, okay, so, and Susanna Irachi, learning by playing. And we will try to connect technology again. Hopefully it works.
So,
Continues to connect.
yes.
Try.
Okay. We have to share with the other online. Here.
Yes. So, yeah.
Active.
Oh,
Here,
let's click this one. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So good morning. And this presentation is about learning by playing. So it is something that mixed the first presentation and the final, the previous. And it is by, the content is by playing board games. So it is different from gamification. But we have also a situation in which students played in a situation of screen to screen. So the first point is that at the University of Macerata, we have a long tradition in the psychology sector to adopt an interactive didactic because we want to involve students as adults and having maybe the power to orient their own life, so they have to be engaged in their own development. And the second introduction is about play, because as a psychologist, educational psychologist, we know that play is a very serious and work. It's not like be lazy and like a parenthesis from work and job, but it is a format that allow lots of engagement, motivation, and also deep understanding of the contents. So we did 3 studies. In the first study, we explored the well-being of the academic students, and so having an emotional and social goal. And in the second study, this experience was shifted online in a screen-to-screen experience. And in the third study, we promote the understanding of the positive value of game format in teaching learning format, asking students to plan and project board games for children. So in the first study, we have 44 university students in the courses of educational psychology. That is the course I teach at the university. And the procedures is using about the questionnaire that is aimed to explore the well-being using 4 items regarding appunto the well-being level. And this is the results. This is the general well-being, and this is the gaming well-being. So we noted that there was an increase of perceived well-being after having played. The same procedures was used with these 49 students in online courses, and we have the same situation. General well-being is minor in comparison with the online gaming well-being, in which they were on teams and they were called in rooms to play board games in screen-to-screen situation. And we also compared the results of study 1 and study 2, and we discovered that in the online situation, the difference between the general well-being and the after-playing well-being was even more effective than in the offline in present situation. And this is a significant, statistically significant difference. In the third study, we asked these 86 students from primary education training, that is to say, that they will be teachers in infant and primary schools in their professional life, and because we treated play and board games as a format for learning, also for children, they were asked to design a board game, and it was linked to another project in which we had to treat about the safety when we on road. So students were asked to design, and it was like a product. It was evaluated in their career and contributed to the final results in terms of evaluation. So we used as some criteria to evaluate the products. That is the sticks that you can see here, and you can see here. And we also involved in the evaluation an external expert, like, let me say, like a blind evaluator, and she is a toy designer, so she's an expert in the design of toy. And these are the results. I don't want to go inside the, of course, the details, but the students designed 13 different board games, and 10 of them were board games on out of 13. That is the total of the results, the product that you can see here. And about the academic results, what we also applied statistical measures. So they have from good to excellent evaluation, and no one has insufficient results. So what we can say about the use of board games in student academic life, because students and adults, because also we know that there are researches about games with children. They have, of course, very important relevance, but not so many about games with adults. And most of them are about motivation, involvement, and social and social emotional well-being. But we add something about the understanding of the contents that was also underlined in the first presentation, and about the support to creative processes. And on the other hand, we have some good results in the situation of well-being in screen-to-screen also. And we can say that board games have as a result, they allow cognitive but also metacognitive effects, because on one hand, of course, students can better understand why to adopt games and playful activity with children in their future as teachers, but at the same time, they have very good results as students in the meantime. And the positive effect of playing board games also can push these students as professionals to adopt board games in their future, and to give the children the opportunity to play when they are at school. That is very important, because till now, at least in Italy, playful activity are not have not a good application. Sometimes they are considered just divertisement, no, like a parenthesis, and then there is the real job. So thank you for your attention. I think I have.
Thank you very much. Yes, we only used 10 minutes, not 15. It was really interesting. I would like to yes, questions.
I have one question. It started with Jose Alonso's presentation, and now with this one of Paula, I'm sure that I want to ask this, and all others. It's open question. We are speaking about introducing gamification in studying process to attract the attention of our students. So it's kind of divertisement, and we are looking after what is their satisfaction. Do they feel more happy? Obviously, who is not happy to play? But do we find a way to explore in the end of the process, when they get the diploma, do those students are better prepared than those ones with which we didn't use gamification? You understand my question?
Yes, I think for a good answer.
For your example, it's easier because those students, they will go and work with children. So gamification is easier. But in your case, that was my serious question.
My feeling is the same preparation for the students, but they enjoy the course, no? And then for me it's very important, the motivation. At the same to have plans at the classroom, that people that are participating all the time out there.
Would you like to address
Yes, because in our situation, we don't use actually gamification. That is something different. We used board games, and to answer this question, we will need like a follow-up. So after the end of the academic career, we will maybe ask if they feel, or maybe through a questionnaire, we can make a comparison between the sample that has not this kind of experience and the others. But we don't, till now, we don't have this kind of results.
There's one question. There's one question at the back of the room. No, but we need the
Because
online
they
people to hear.
are
Yeah, that's
online.
online.
They're
Yes.
online.
Thank you, sir. I would like to know which kind of games are you using? Maybe board games, yeah, that's fine. But custom board games, you create your own board games, or are you using, Catan or this kind of stuff? So I would like to know which kind of board games are you using? That's that.
Okay.
Custom or not?
Um,
Custom or not? Do you create your own board games in order for your
Yes.
learning processes, or you just pick
yes.
any?
And
Depending on the process, the learning process you are teaching, maybe you are using a trivial pursuit or something like that. I don't
yes,
know.
yes. In the first situation, and in both in the classroom during the classes at the university, and also in the screen-to-screen situations, we used customized board games. So they were different kinds, so students can enjoy different kind of situations with these board games. They were all around the classroom, and they played maybe for an hour and so, and then we have a theoretical reflection about their well-being, but also about their cognitive involvements, the social collaboration, and the way in which they also maybe had conflict and negotiate some situations, because this is the situation of board games. And then on the other hand, we also asked to produce new board games. And these are not based, they are very original. So if you can see here about the criteria through which we evaluated their products, so original kind of board games. And as the results are very good and excellent, they actually invent something different from the board games they have already experienced, maybe during the classes, but also, of course, outside, because they were children and maybe they are also used to play in their own life.
One more question.
I have a methodological question. You insist that you have statistically significant results. That means that you are doing inference on a population out of a sample. My question is, which is the population? It is the students of your department, the university, Italy? What? Which is the population?
In our kind of researches as a psychologist, let me say that a population of 50 people is statistically significant. Of course, it's statistically significant in that population, not in comparison with the total of a population in the world.
Another questions? I have a question.
Yes.
Actually, two questions. First, links to the previous question about the type of games, because obviously there are different kinds of games. Some categorize games into infinite and finite games. Finite games where you have a winner at the end. And as you were collecting the data on the well-being,
Yes.
obviously how people feel at the time of data collection depends on the outcome of the game they are playing. So if they lose in the game, this might have an impact on the results. So I was wondering whether you took into consideration this division between games which are aimed at collaboration, playability, or did you have this kind of games where there's a loser and a winner?
We used different kind of board games, and one of the element that is important under the psychological point of view is that frustration about losing is, let me say, in a state of flow. So it is not like when we lose something in the reality, because when we play, we are in another level of mental state.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like we can sustain better the frustration. And also this is a kind of training, let me say, for children, but also for adults.
Thank you very much. And another question, really, because I'm struggling with this question, also linking to the previous presentation about the role and the place of gamification, playability in education, because I think we face kind of paradoxical situation. On one hand, more and more often, we are expected to provide edutainment. So students expect to have entertainment and education together. But on the other hand, very often when I come into my classroom, I teach management students, and when I want to introduce something more playful, I get sometimes feedback, wait a second, we came to the university to study something serious.
Yes.
What is going on? If I want to play, I play outside of the university. And sometimes I have to say it's really difficult to adjust because I can see big value in it. And you've shown that in your cohort, in your group, in your discipline, it really works. But I'm just wondering how to find this right balance, because the expectations of our students these days are just so diverse. So I don't know if you can offer some advice, some help.
I can add something, because we use the same situation with old people and people with Alzheimer's disease, and we have the same, let me say, the same results. So we also want to convince outside the academic situation that playing is a very good format for different kind of situation, also with people with who is struggling maybe with the cognitive disease, like in Alzheimer. And one of the criteria is not about finite or infinitive situation of board game, but it is about the level of difficulty. Sometimes having maybe a board game in which you have to study the instructions and maybe you have to lose time just to understand in which way the board games is working, maybe you lose some of the involvement and you maybe give up. And so it's a level in which you have to be involved and be a little bit of struggle, but not so much.
Thank you very much. I hope we could all go back to our childhood and play more in classes. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Faccio così. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to invite our next speakers, Wiktoria Pankratowa i Olga Stochowa, application of the project method in teaching legal discipline. So we're going to have input from the legal perspectives. Our colleagues, I'm sure, will enlighten us in some interesting perspectives. We see if we can
how it works.
I don't know which.
Yes, okay. Good morning, dear colleagues. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's really a great opportunity and responsibility to participate in this conference today. My name is Victoria Pankratova, and I would like to introduce you my colleague. It's Olga Stogova. Together we work at Sumy State University, Ukraine, and we represent Department of Constitutional Law and Fundamental Jurisprudence. We want to represent the result of the project method in teaching law students. First of all, a few words about idea. In 2021, we won the Jean Monnet Model Grant by Erasmus Plus program, and the topic of our grant was local democracy, the best European practices for Ukraine. And one of the goals of the project was to develop a course. And this course is about the tools of local democracy, such as election, petition, and other. And we with Olga believe that we can influence life in our community, and we can influence the level of service in our community. Therefore, we wanted to make teaching not theoretical, and we wanted that students see from their own experience that they are important to the community. We want to transform it from theoretical to practice. And this is some transformation thinking. I can do it, for I do it. Yes, and how to move from theory to practice. And we think that we use the project method in teaching. And a few words, yes, about this method. In the late 1960s, Ohio State University professor Edgar Dale experimented with different ways of presenting the material with his students. At first, he just told something to students, you see, then showed pictures, forced them to give speeches on the other topic, or forced them to perform some actions. And after that, he had a result. You can see this cone. Maybe you see this cone later, yes. And what's the result? First, listening to lectures on a topic or looking through materials on a subject is the least effective method of learning anything. But teaching others and applying the learned material in life is the most effective methods of learning anything. We agree with Dales, yes, and we use this method teaching law students. Because we think the project method is a good stimulator of the students' interest in the education and material and discipline. And its use is possible in any law course because we think that developing practical skills and creating conditional as close as possible to practice are important factors in forming a future specialist, future lawyers. And trust, cooperation, and providing students with a greater independence are at the heart of this methods. And what is good, yes, in this method? First of all, this method helps increasing motivation. Today we hear this word motivation. Yes, it's very important in our teaching work. And students have found that project method can improve the motivation levels of students to study because it's not theoretical but more practical. And this method helps us to improve in critical thinking and development soft skills. For example, to work together and other. And this method has become widespread and popular because it works some formula. Everything I learn, I know why I need it and where and how I can apply it. That's a central idea of the understanding of this method. And I would like to invite Olga to continue our presentation.
I want to add that we have the real problem with motivation of our students. From the March of 2020, our students have been learning in online system. From the COVID, yes, we had the problem of distance learning, and so we noticed that the motivation yes, well low, yes. And so it was the real problem, what we need to do in this situation. One of the variants to use this project method. And I want to add that our Ukrainian educational law means that educational program for bachelor law is 24 credits for a lawyer, 40, yes, and 60 credits of European transfer system is elective courses. And we propose the course about local democracy, not only for lawyers, but for students of other specialities. And in this group, then we work with the students. They are not the academic group, the students who work together for 4 years and know each other very well. These students work together only for 1 semester, and they are from other specialities. And so we can have the opportunity to develop their soft skills, to communicate with each other. And what stages of the project method we used? The first, it's the defining a relevant topic that is interesting for students and reflects a real problem. Our students are from different local communities. And they need to understand what problem they have in their communities, and choose that problem they can solve. That second stage of this project method, the formation of the team. The team building is an actual problem of our teaching method too. The third stage is project development and presentation algorithm. And the fourth is the reflection. The reflection and an important part of the problem of this method too. Why we decided to use this project method? Determination of the topic and goals of the project. Our students choose a problem that exists in their community, justify the topic's relevance, and clearly define the project goals they hope to achieve with the help of the change project. Activities and terms. At this stage, it's necessary to describe in detail only the plan of activities within the framework of the project and the expected results. project production. This section should describe the plan of evaluation of the project goals. The next member. We would like to show you the real results, the project, which was done by our students. One of them connected with homeless animals, cat and dogs, about the local problem, the second project, the local problems with ecological environment, and one very actual project about the building of shelters. First year studies students in our university, they learn in shelters, and the second, third and fourth, they are learning in distance online situation. And we have such good results of this course of local democracy, 2 petitions on site of local communities there live our students. This petition was realized. And one important thing that at our Sumy State University, at the end of each semester, we survive the evaluation of students, how they evaluate the quality of teaching course. Every teacher, every course should be evaluated by the student. And this is the result of evaluation our course, local democracy. And I remember you that that's not only our lower student, but the students of different specialties, and they work with them only during one semester. But the results of the survey are very good. You see the results of 23rd years and 21st, and there are many questions in this survey, but we show only what's connected with our methods, project methods, and you can see that evaluation is very good, and the motivation to study this discipline is is better. Not much better, but better. Next question. This the results of the evaluation task and the answer. Do you consider this type of task as a project work in which a problem in the community and the directions of its solution are determined to be appropriate? And you can see the results of the survey of 23 and 24 year. The most of our students have a good evaluation of our work. And will you use the tools of local democracy in the future? It's maybe the main outcomes of our disciplines, and you can see these results that 52 and 61 persons answered yes. And it's very important for us that they not only know the theoretical tools, how to change the real life in their community, but they are ready to do it in practice. And the main goal. Yes. Oh, 3 minutes. Conclusions, yes. The main results of using of project methods in legal disciplines, it's the increase in students' motivation to study legal disciplines, development of independence and responsibility of students, and the development of their soft skills. That's all, and I want to add our contact. Maybe it will be interesting for you, and we invite for cooperation. And about the theoretical and methodological discussion of using game and other interesting tools for preparing students. In our law department, we have many colleagues who elder and worked as a prosecutor, advocates, and they said that we prepare our students for serious business, for court system, and there are no place for game in our teaching. But the situation is changed last years. It's some struggle between generation maybe in teaching. But our students now, they are different from their than students were 20 years ago. Because the system of education at schools changed, yes, and we have now the students of the first course, first year studies, which are not ready to work as we worked 20 years ago. So we consider that we should use the games, playing, but only as a tools to achieving results in our studying. I consider that it is a problem that some teacher use these methods as a goal. It should be so. It's only the tools. But we have the place for such methods in preparing future law too. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a very interesting. And I would like to extend my my gratitude for you being here with us today, despite the difficulties you're facing, and for the fact that in these difficult circumstances you still continue your amazing work. Stay, because we have questions for you, I'm sure. So would you like to ask something to explore in more detail?
Thank you for your presentation. I really appreciated it. Since you, if I understood well, if you always started with a problem for your project, a structured problem. So have you considered to also to merge to your methodological approach the problem-based approach?
So the first, we have the problem of this motivation of our students to learn, but the second problem that it's difficult for our students to communicate with each other. My 3.5 years, our students learned by distance, and they haven't enough skills to communicate in a live method. So it's very actual for us to learn them to communicate, to solve the problems together, because it's a real psychological problem that our new students, especially the first and the second year students, who from their 15 or 14 years learned only distance. They and other students, we have no experience for teaching such persons. So that's our opportunity to teach them communicate and to work in team.
Thank you. Any other questions from the room? I have one question. You 2 slides back, I think you showed the the conclusions and no conclusions, because you show what the students actually achieved, what they've learned. And listening to this presentation, I think that there is one other aspect you could add. Social impact of education. It's a big theme in European Union. European Union wants our education to be relevant, to make a difference, to have social impact. And I think that with your projects, definitely you should add as another element, because students engaging in the social projects, they see that their education matters and what they do matters, because they go out into the world outside of university walls. So So that's big achievement.
Thank you for your questions. It's difficult to say about our project of local democracy, so we tell not only about this project, but we understand that the goal of our project and this course to socialize our students, and they should be not only the specialist, the lawyer, that should be the citizens of their country, their state, and their local community. It's very important for Europe at all, for Ukraine. And this course and the method of project, they can teach our students how to use the legal tools to solve the real community problems.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention.
And we have our last presentation, and finally we'll be on time with everything. We'll welcome Laura Fedeli. Your friend Rosita De Luigi is not with us. Okay. Welcome from the University of Macerata, and we're gonna have a presentation on interdisciplinary project-based learning, the impact of co-teaching on students' achievement. And we'll try to log on. Everything works, so our last presentation before the break.
I teach general didactics and instructional technology at the University of Macerata. This is a joint presentation because the main theme of this presentation is co-teaching. So it could be different to have a joint presentation. What is about our focus is about joining co-teaching with project-based learning. In the last 4 years, we had an experimentation with the same cohort of students, that is, the students enrolled at the final year of a first cycle degree course in education science. And this decision to apply co-teaching to our students was born because we had two perceived needs. One need from an institutional level, because our university works towards the innovation in didactics, and 3 years ago, co-teaching was somehow formalized as a format to innovate the didactics, the university didactics. So we decided to apply co-teaching in our courses. The second perceived need is about our degree course, the degree in which we teach, that is education science, the curriculum of social educators. In this kind of curriculum, there are not workshop activities, so students are just involved in theoretical courses. At least until last year, it was like this. So they don't have laboratories, workshop, or spaces where they can work, for example, in groups in practical activities. So we decided with my colleague, to offer them a space, an opportunity to have a practical collaboration. And specifically, we designed together and developed together a specific learning unit for them. This presentation is a sort of a synthesis of what we experienced in the last 4 years. Okay. More. Okay. You're welcome. So just briefly, the background of this study is a multiple case study. As I said, it lasted 4 years. what is co-teaching? Co-teaching actually means two or more teachers working together, designing together and running together, or a whole course or a part of a course or just a learning unit. Co-teaching can take different formats also according to the role that you decide to attribute to both professor. For example, you can be both co-present in the class, or you can alternate in the teaching phase. One can teach and the other can observe, for example. So co-teaching actually can vary a lot. We found that co-teaching in our case had some advantages for the teachers and for the students themselves. For the teachers, we had the opportunity to know each other in a very deep way, because actually you can, for example, have colleagues for a lot of years, but if you don't experience working with them, actually you don't really know them. So this experience was a great opportunity for us to deepen our understanding, our mutual understanding on a disciplinary level, for example, but it was also a great opportunity for students because actually we showed them what collaborating means. We always tell our students that collaborating is important. They have to learn how to work together in team. Co-teaching is a way to show directly students what collaborating is. And also we decided to experience co-teaching because in the literature we have seen that this kind of approach is very used at school, mostly with the collaboration of the curricular teacher with, for example, the teacher for student with special needs, but at university is more difficult to find experience of co-teaching. So we decided to experiment this format. And we decided to apply co-teaching to project-based learning. Project-based learning is an inquiry-based format approach, the tactical approach, and its characteristics are that students are provided with authentic tasks, is often an interdisciplinary project, and another characteristic is that students at the end of the project need to create one or more artifact product. So as I told you, we decided to engage students in this kind of project because they really don't have other opportunities along the 3 years of their study to apply in practical activities. And also because we thought that it was a good opportunity to show students that disciplines are not isolated and that they can learn about 2 or more disciplines at the same time, having this different perspective that different professor can offer them during the project. So specifically, the 2 courses that were involved in this project were Instructional Technology, my course, and Intercultural Pedagogy. As you can see, there are 2 very different courses, so 2 different disciplines. And we designed something that could merge the objective of both courses, and a way that we found that proved to be successful was to propose students to apply core concept of intercultural pedagogy through the use of technology. So in this way, we try to merge the two different objectives of the 2 courses. Normally, I host the co-teaching in my course, Instructional Technology. So one part of the hour of my course, that is 40 hours, in total is dedicated to this project. It depends on the academic year, so we dedicate from 14 to 20 or 21 hours to the project. So students in my class are followed by me and my colleague, mostly at distance. I will explain you how. Also interesting is that even if the two courses are instructional technology and intercultural pedagogy, we also include in the project some core concept that students encountered in their, for example, in the first year of the degree course, for example, general pedagogy, general didactics. And in one of these experimentation, we also included a third teacher of the second cycle. That's because we thought that students, most of the students after the end of the first cycle of study enroll to the second cycle. And this was an opportunity for them to meet in advance one of their professor of the second cycle and also approach in a very light way a discipline, in this case interaction design, that probably they would encounter in the second cycle. How co-teaching is organized? We have normally a first presentation class in which me and my colleague are present, in which we give them the indication, initial inputs to work together. We clarify the objective of the project, the duration, the deadlines, and we ask them also to organize themselves in small groups. They are free to choose the compositions of the groups. So they are also free to attribute to themselves some specific roles inside the groups. And in this case, we are all together. In the second step, during the development of the project, normally I'm always present in class. My colleague can come in some specific classes, but she's always present at a distance. What does it mean? We normally use an online environment where students can store their intermediate work, so their artifacts, the draft artifacts that they are creating, where they can also upload their questions, express their doubts, ask for help, ask for support. Me and my colleague can reply at a distance in this virtual environment. So actually they are always supported by us, even if we are not always together present in the class. The final step, again, we are all together, me and my colleague, and the students are asked to present their final work. We have said that project-based learning implies that you need to create, produce an artifact. This is the moment where students present to all the class their artifacts and explain the rationale of the work and also reflect on how they work together, what they perceive as advantage or barriers or difficulties in developing the project. So I will go very quickly. This is just to show you that along the year we had different tasks. So we diversified a little the project and the output that we expect from students. Here you can see some moments of one of the project of the students. So they worked in a multimedia classroom where they could work with, of course, devices, different digital devices, but also they worked to prepare, in this case, they had to prepare a video learning unit to be used by other students, younger students. So they prepared their video, and these are the intermediate artifacts before producing the video. They had to plan a digital map about the intercultural pedagogy concept. They had to prepare a storyboard of the video, and then finally they produced the video. Every year we collected some data with a specific research question. The data were mainly qualitative data, and there were observation of the students during the working class, reflection papers of the students, but also the final discussion that we had at the end of the project. As you can see, each year we produce one or more scientific papers about the experience that we had in didactics. This is quite important for us, relevant, because this process forces us as a professor to reflect about what we did in class. So it's a way to merge really didactics with research. So we had a lot of several articles dealing with the different research objective every year of experimentation. And we can just, because we have very little time, just to give you some idea of the results, merging the results of every year of experimentation, we can say that we can have some results on both the behavioral outcomes and cognitive outcomes of the project. As a behavioral outcomes, we isolated two core categories: resilience, that is a class as a community, and self-efficacy and self-determination. Of course, self-efficacy and self-determination is an outcome on individual level. Class as a community is an outcome related to the student as a group. So what we gathered as a result in these years is that students, even if they worked in small groups, they could rely on each other beyond the small groups in which they worked, because there was a continuous flow of communication, interaction, and support among each member of the class, beyond the small group in which the student was in. And also the autonomy and the responsibility that they attributed to themselves to, for example, to fulfill a specific step of the project made them reflect on their strength and their skills and valorize their specific skills.
Last comment, Laura. Last comment, please.
Okay, so we can say that co-teaching and mixed with project-based learning, of course, was identified from students as a high-impact practices.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that very shortly there will be some exciting stuff going on here, but still we have time for a couple of questions from the audience. So please take your chance and ask Laura. Yes, there is one.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I really like the project-based learning, and co-teaching also seems great. However, I want to touch on a delicate subject. At my university, at some point, we had this clinical course with two different therapists from two different backgrounds, and that was a great course. I went through it, but then somebody discovered that if you just hire one, then that helps the cost of the class. My question here is, how do you negotiate with the university so that I assume they hire 2 teachers instead of 1 for a particular course?
Actually, it's not hiring 2 teachers because we are both curricular teachers. We teach our courses, okay, and our institution let us use an amount of hours in co-teaching. So it's when I said that the university formalized co-teaching, it means that we can use a part of our hours in our courses to be together. So it's not a cost for the university. Okay. Of course, it's a small amount of hours. That's why we decided to support students at a distance. Of course, for us, it's time consuming. We work more. But it's not a cost for university.
But if I may add, because I'm a big fan of co-sharing, unfortunately in Poland we don't have this system, but at my previous British university it was a standard, and it did not create cost, but it was amazing tool for sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
Because when you teach with another colleague, basically you share, and also another benefit was covering the sick leave. So whenever there is a problem with the tutor, then you can help. Another question, or it's not a question, it's a comment.
It's not a question. I was a reviewer of this article, so I recognize it, and it was very interesting for me. And I can suggest something, because in New Bulgarian University we have this co-teaching, and we have the same with the load. It's 60 hours course, and we are 3 teachers, so each one uses 20 hours for its load. But we went further, and not only the teachers are from different perspectives, but the students are from different programs.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, because when we make the groups, in one group can be students from psychology, management, security programs, and it's really working very well.
Yeah, I had this experience with education science and primary teacher education. We had also an experience in this direction. So, and I agree that's very interesting.
Any other questions from the audience? So thank you very much. Thank you all the speakers for wonderful presentations. It was really interesting, and it was fascinating for me that we come from all parts of Europe, from different institutions, from different faculties, but still very similar topics come back to us. How to motivate students, how to be relevant, how to improve our teaching practice. And I've learned a lot today. I have a long list to do. I need to give chocolates. I need to do project-based learning and to have board games in my classroom. All very inspiring. Thank you very much, and see you later.
So, after introducing the first participants, I will vanish. And she will come back. And this is magic, really. It's a kind of Halloween stuff. So, please, where is Maria Ivanova? Oh, thank you. Nice to meet you. So, do you have your...
Yes.
Is it already here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, then I will start again. Welcome, everyone. We gathered today to explore academic years in academic settings. So, this is a topic that affects us all, and I will hear from our esteemed panel of experts, and let's introduce the first participants, Maria Ivanova. So, Maria, could you please just introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm glad to see everyone at this conference. I'm Maria Ivanova from New Bulgarian University, Department Business Administration. My work about area Human Resource Management. And now I present you our work in New Bulgarian University, HR Rush for Practice. What is it? You can see now.
So I am the head of Center of Languages. All right. Okay. So I'm sure.
Okay. Okay. I introduce our theme HRS for Practice, an innovative teaching approach supported the learners. It is a good practice of the New Bulgarian University. HRS for Practice is not only one method. It is an innovative teaching approach which combines new forms of learning, such as a flipped classroom, working in a virtual team via wiki. It is function of Moodle, maybe you know. Combines team coaching and mentoring by academic teachers, student online discussions with the participation of mentors and moderators. It is they are professionals from the practice with Moodle functionality such as asynchronous discussions, electronic assignments and feedbacks, test and service, provision of electronic multimedia resources, virtual classroom. The HRS for Practice is a project-based learning and innovative interdisciplinary form of teaching. By participating in this learning project, students take a serious step forward in their preparation for effective people management and their professional development. The object of this form of teaching is all students studying psychology, management, human resource management, and economics. The subject is the process of learning through an open dialogue between business, students, and science in a real and virtual environment, giving the opportunity to achieve an optimal symbiosis between theoretical training and practical knowledge based on the learning by doing method. We start to work with HRS for Practice for 3 semesters before. The main goal of the innovative form of teaching is modern style of learning and self-development, and to achieve maximum connection of scientific theories of potential selection and evaluation with practices in organizations. The sub-goals. Understanding the recruitment and selection process, the legal and ethical norms in organization, recruitment and selection methods, development of skills for working with various assessment tools for recruitment and selection, analyzing the business context and process for evaluating, attracting, and retaining talent in the organization. The tasks are application knowledge from courses, study courses in a real work environment, new knowledge from the practice of organizational from different industries, learning from the experience of others, learning by doing, and acquisition of new skills in the field of HR management, skills related to business process and communication, commercial skills, marketing skills, skills for working with various software systems and social network data and data analysis. This teaching form we doing not only with teacher, and we have cooperation. You can see here to some list of name of for firms with we cooperation. Methodology of HRs for practice creates an environment where theory meets practice and student knowledge is applied in a real process related to HR using digital tools. It's launched an innovative approach to learning through the active participation of students in a real Generation Z recruitment process in the form of an unique student competition. On the process, there are several some steps. Step one it started with the presentation of the regulations for participation in the competition and getting to know the employers. Step two continued with the formation of team of 2 students each and the implementation of a project assignment. Project assignment name is Recruitment, Selection, and Assessment of Talents. Step 3, the following is a pre-selection of personnel for real open position offered by employers using a professional digital software, Plegi. Plegi is based on modern technologies and scientific psychometric approaches presented in the form of game models. Step 4, the presentation of the results of the selection of job candidates, evaluation of students' work by employers, mentors, and academics, teachers. The most successful teams receive prizes from the innovative prizes pool. All the contents of project assignment, general information, purpose of the assignment, the skills they will students will acquire and develop, stages and activities in the implementation of the assignment. What the benefits for the students? Students learn how to access their potential and upgrade their standards CV as to arouse their interest of employers. The experience gained during the initiative provides a competitive advantage to each student in his realization on the labor market, opportunity to receive a job offer and internship, opportunity for a prize from a prize fund of the initiative. The greatest benefits for student is not the high grade in the student book they receive for their work, but the acquired knowledge, developed skills, assume experience which provide a competitive advantage to each student in his relation on the labor market or in on his own
Excuse
business.
me, please. Only 5 minutes.
Okay. Results. You can see in my study this statistic data, and they have one table where you can to see and what the results of first semester, second semester, and last semester. What we are doing with students. Students participate. We started at 68, and you see 155 in the last semester successfully completed the project, and internship and job offers for to students with whom the companies worked on the study project. And I speak about one more methods we the teachers. It is implement the coaching approach in evaluated at 4 levels, and have some table where you can to see learning from coaching, application of coaching in this 3 level, and conclusion. The proposed combination of innovative approaches and training methods are aimed at higher efficiency of the learning process. They are implemented in the model of training that is oriented towards students in accordance with their needs and expectation, and support their development to achieve competence in the field of management, meeting the European standards and values. The model includes educational philosophy of the program strategy for learning and development process, of teaching, learning methods, and assessment methods, elements of the educational process, a web-based platform for learning and communication. Coaching is more geared toward monitoring and improving how the knowledge learned in training is used. In other words, it deals more with performance assessment and management. The process of training starts with understanding the new concepts, and then processes to a stage where the trainees are able to practice the skill in a real company environment.
Your presentations, I think we have 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes, 3 minutes left for questions. So if you have any question or a comment. I have one question.
Okay.
Thank you for this valuable presentation. So I was wondering, actually, if your project, as a such, it is, which is, I would say, very interdisciplinary project, right? And then how did you manage to connect all these different disciplines and teachers and colleagues, or maybe researchers from all these different disciplines? This is my first question. The second one, is it a project that is aimed at vocational education, since the students who benefit from this experience, actually, they do the internship in companies? Yeah, thank you.
Yes. First, the process we start with auditorial courses where the student learn about methodology, methods of recruitment and selection. The students meet the employers and to work together. In New Bulgarian University, we have auditorials course safe to safe at the study room, and have other training course where the student prepare their practical assignments. And the second.
Yeah, I mean, is it, I would say, is it specifically targeted to vocational education? But I think so, as the students will benefit.
Yeah.
You see, internship specifically. And,
Yeah.
So I was wondering, how did you manage to gather different disciplines together, and especially colleagues from? Did you collaborate with colleagues from other disciplines? Because you mentioned psychology, you mentioned.
Yes. In the start of the semester, we tell of the students to have these HR rush for practice activities, and after that we formed
A team.
Yes.
With specialists from different.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, I'm sorry, I have to vanish to the others. This is my. The certificate of the presenters. Okay. Oh, I have to deal with that, right? Okay. So, yeah, this is yours. Thank you. You are welcome. They are very serious here.
It's in the root.
As soon as we finish the presentation.
In the roots of the drive.
Attendance certificate. So impressed. Thank you very much.
This one.
And I hope we will meet later on. Opportunity to continue our. Thank you very much. Thank you for. I will back. I have a presentation later on. Yes, the last one. Yeah, right there. And there, it's great because on theater and on packaging.
Do you want me to stand in or a chair? Yeah, but somebody needs to say, 5 minutes. Yeah, we try to manage myself.
I am the presenter, yes. No, it's okay for me. I think I can proceed. All of us, okay. This is a collaborative procedure. So I'm Assistant Professor Angeliki Kitsi from the Department of Cultural Technology and Communication. It's very nice to meet you from the University of the Aegean of Greece. Our presentation today concerns one of the methods that we apply in our courses. It is called the Bring Your Own Device approach. The aim of this paper and this approach is to try to adapt to the higher education institutions' evolving needs and to focus more on student-centered approaches. And this method that I will explain you in a meanwhile step by step is implemented in order to enhance the interactive environments. And you will see our key findings that it helps to increase the engagement and interaction of the students and help us all teachers and students to transformate to the transformation of learning in the digital age. We try to address the challenges concerning the previous traditional lectures that we had, especially after COVID. As you all, I think we had all the same problems trying to teach our students. And to enhance critical thinking and active citizenship through these procedures, to analyze, understand the need for the adjustment of our own at first, and after that of our student, and to bring the emphasis on the student-centered learning characteristics like their motivation, how to make them to participate in the class, how to raise their learning experience and feel happy with all this procedure, and of course the all self-assessment procedure that it fulfills the cycle of the learning. So the bring your own device approach. Sorry, dear, we started. Okay. So the University of Aegean is a young university. It's around 40 years old. So our infrastructures are not in very large expansion. We have 6 classrooms for 3 departments, and all these our laboratories are not very much well equipped, but not plenty in numbers. So we have to find ways to address these infrastructure issues. So the bring your own device approach concerns that we bring the mobile phones as we use it in our daily life right now as extension of mind and hands, using both physical and mental skills. We recognize that we can use these mobile devices as learning tools and to transform the whole learning procedure. The origin of the approach was from the private sector, from Intel company. Actually, it started on 2009, where here the company realized that the workers were using their phones in order to do some of the jobs. So it came to the educational sector about 2010 and after that. The historical context of this approach and previous research shows that at first most of the students didn't want to use their own device, their personal device, within the learning procedures. And but recent research, and especially after COVID, showed that they accept it and they use it and raises the academic performance and enhances the student motivation and helps to the learning achievement. So it's an approach that helps us to address the issue of the limited computer lab accesses. It's a cost-effective, of course, approach. The infrastructure that needs is the free Eduroam network that we all have access. And since in our university there is no specific university policy on mobile devices, we can use this approach as much as we want. The theoretical foundations from the pedagogical perspective concern the social constructivism and the connectivism. Focusing on the connectivism on the idea that we are all a network, we are all connected in some way, using especially these tools. And we try to distribute the knowledge across these networks and to make our students to participate active and focusing on mini projects to collaborate. And of course, with under our supervision all the time and our supportive role through this procedure. So how we do it? At first, we divide the groups of students. Okay, sorry, but I started later than. Okay, we have the collaborative activities. We try to share this through the Padlet and plenary presentations. I think I should be to the technique is that we divide the groups in small groups at first for brainstorming. Then we have the procedure of snowballing, where two groups start to share, two people in a group start to sharing their ideas. And after that, we enlarging the groups. But the most interesting thing is the De Bono 6 thinking hats, where students, as you can see in the picture as well, is an actual picture for our classes. They are divided and based to the color of the hat, they express a different perspective of the procedure, like the feelings through the collaboration, like the knowledge skill. Okay, we focus in the 6 stadiums. And after that, they use the tools that we have, the Open eClass platform, the Padlet, the Canva, the Google Suite and AI tools to share the ideas. We have evaluated this procedure. 100% of the students, they were satisfied using this method. 30 and 72 of them were absolutely engaged. I'm focusing on the most important percentages now. 64% of the students wanted the expansion of this method in the other classes as well, not only in didactics. And 90% of them asked for more digital tools in order to use more effectively these procedures. The benefits that they declared was the collaborative learning and knowledge sharing, the social benefits. They focused very much on this, that they are socialized, that they are integrated more in the procedure of the university, that they have better peer connections and social interaction skills. They also focused on the fact that they understood better the diversity and the different ideas and how they can collaborate through different aspects. And they help them to accept the ideas of everyone. So, this approach enhances engagement of the students, sees technologies as an essential tool, the day-to-day technology, as the mobile phone is. We can see, we can understand better the perspective of this generation Z and the need for reliable infrastructure, for space, and to redesign all university policies and take also the security measures that we need, because since we use their mobile and their own devices, we should have some measures in order to protect privacy and security issues as well. And further research should focus on computer lab preference regions, implementation in other subjects, in order to have an assessment through control group studies, to redefine the whole procedure of physical attendance. And this is one of the methods that we use in order to support our general vision for enhanced learning experience, to address our universities as open environments, and of course to contribute to a knowledge society that we all respect and try to serve. Thank you very much. I hope I was on time.
Very much. And do anybody has any questions for our colleague? No questions. So I have some. Oh, you have.
Okay.
Bring it down the microphone. Ah, so you're running. Okay.
Just a very quick one. Thank you for the presentation. And you spoke about 100% student satisfaction. How about teachers?
How about teachers? We haven't yet made the assessment for the teachers, but we were 4 teachers that we engaged in this procedure, and we were very happy, all of us, in order to be honest.
Because what comes to mind is that besides redesigning the courses and the learning outcomes, possibly you would need additional training for teachers, also with the methodology, a specific methodology in mind to use those devices.
For sure, thank you for your question, because we are now started to implement this procedure. It's an innovative one through ERUA, so we have a lot of work to do in order to establish all the necessary.
Thank you
for a better design.
Yes, yes, please.
Well, you mentioned an e-portfolio platform in the assessment of your student. How
Sorry?
did you use the e-portfolio in this process? And
Yes, because
what kind of platform did you use? Thank you very much.
We mostly use the Padlet and AI tools, but since our projects are interdisciplinary and our department is cultural technology and communication, so they design products for cultural planning, and they use the AIs and all these to to make the product. So if I can bring you a paradigm, it was about an application that can identify the profile of a stray animal and something like that. Okay.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, so once again, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and I'm inviting Zagoniani, if I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing very well. Yes. Angeliki and Evangelia. So you were? Ah, so they mixed. So they mixed the okay. So that okay. So they exchanged okay, without warning me. So you are Maria, yes?
No, I'm Alicia.
Alicia.
Yes.
Okay. So then we welcome Alicia Kotlowska with the presentation Synergy of Minds and Machines, an Acton research study on ChatGPT's role in transforming the learning process. Oh, so very, very modern presentations.
We'll
You're
see.
welcome.
Nie wiem właśnie.
This, yes, this one. No, upper. Yes, this one. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, because I need to walk and talk. that's what helps me. Anyway, welcome to my presentation. I would like to share findings from my research. Since the introduction of ChatGPT, I'm trying to explore how can we use this tool, what shall we do, because from my perspective, this new technology dominated the educational setting and also the workplace. So I'm really trying to figure out how should I adapt. And I'm looking for synergies, of course, because when we follow the discussion about the future of AI and its application in an educational context, there are very often two competing scenarios that dominate the discourse. One of them is positive for us because we are trying to look for the synergies between minds and machines, and there is this potential that AI can enhance our learning process. But there is also this other side because there is a threat that AI will actually substitute some of our cognitive functions and will not help us in developing skills and in the learning process. Of course, we've got a a variety of research papers and publications of scholars and experts who would claim that technology is great, technology will help us, that we have this concept of super minds promoted by Professor Malone, which basically explains that we can only advantage from using technology, using AI, and that AI will enhance our abilities. On the other hand, we've got contrasting views and also vast research of scholars that warn about the negative impact of using AI on, this relates to the over-reliance on technology, technological dementia, and limitation of development of some of our skills. So that's the big question, what actually happens in the classroom. And my research focuses on the classroom setting. There is research that investigates the impact on AI in the assessment process. And some researchers would say that this is probably the end of written assignment, end of written essay, because very often we are not able to distinguish the work submitted to us for assessment. Is it the work produced by a human student, or is it the work of ChatGPT? Now, my focus is on classroom, because every day when I come into the classroom, this is what I see. And I think many of us teachers here would familiarize with this environment. This is the picture generated by ChatGPT when I describe more or less what's happening when I come to the classroom. So, and I think it's accurate. So students engaging in their mobile devices, and they're not engaging with the teacher. They're not engaging with each other sometimes. And in the past, I knew they were probably scrolling their social media, probably they were playing computer games, but today, another activity. They are talking with AI. They're asking ChatGPT. They're seeking answers, not from me, the tutor. I'm standing there, but they ask ChatGPT for answers. So I'm thinking, okay, so how can I benefit from this technology? I'm a big fan of technology. So how can we use it for the advantage of the students? Another picture generated by AI. I really would like to have this kind of students in my classroom who are engaged with technology, and I can work with them, and I can help them to do wonderful things, because I believe in this synergy. But I believe that we need to adapt our pedagogy. So that's why my research question is about how should we adopt our pedagogy to promote cognitive development in the world dominated by AI. And looking at the previous research, people are experimenting as we speak. There are many papers of innovative teaching practices. We can use AI as a possibility engine, as a collaboration coach, as a personal tutor, as a study buddy motivator. There are many different roles that we can use, and it's really interesting research. From my perspective, what I was interested in was the cognitive skills of students, and to what extent and I can promote development of those skills, and to what extent is actually limiting this development. And that's why, as a theoretical framework for this research project, I use revised Bloom's taxonomy. I think it's very useful because it includes the lower order thinking skills, like remembering, understanding, applying, and higher order thinking skills like analyzing, evaluating, creating. I would say that very often students really forget about this skill. They believe everything is there on their mobile phone. There is no need to remember. But we know that without remembering, we are not able to develop long-term memory. And without long-term memory, we are not able to create connections with our previous knowledge. So this learning is not happening. So I'm trying to find out, can we benefit? How to achieve this greater advantage from using AI? So the first step I did, and I won't go into details, the details are in the paper, but basically when you take all these cognitive abilities and you try to analyze, okay, so what is the potential positive or negative impact of AI on those abilities? well, it's summarized in the table and discussed in details in the paper. But to summarize, yes, there are some potential benefits and some negative aspects. So my question is, what's happening in my classroom if I use ChatGPT? Will I see these potential benefits, or will this criticism materialize? And that's what I wanted to investigate. And that's why I adopted action research, which I think it's most suitable for this kind of research question. Actually, action research is very popular because it really helps to improve teaching practice. However, important note about its limitations: the findings from action research are not generalizable, and the bias also need to be mentioned, because in action research, the tutor and the researcher are usually the same person. So we have to also take this into consideration. But anyway, action research generally comprise 4 stages: planning the intervention, implementing the intervention, then observing or collecting data in other ways, and then reflecting in order to change teaching practice. So the first stage was planning the intervention, and I've chosen for this intervention the Oxford style debate that I'm sure you are familiar with. And I especially like this teaching method. I used to be a student at Oxford University, so we use this method on a regular basis, and I do believe it's really effective in terms of development of a long list of these cognitive skills, not just one. There are many things you have to do during this Oxford style debate. So in this intervention, what I did, I kind of compared what I did in the past before AI, what I call the human-assisted learning process. So in this process, traditionally, I would prepare specific materials for students, for each group that were to develop argumentation on a given motion. So the students were working on the selected material, and this material was adjusted to their learning level, to the prerequisites, and to the discipline. But the intervention was about changing this procedure. I didn't prepare anything. I just told the student that they can use ChatGPT to prepare all the argumentation working in a group. So all the brief was the same. The only difference was that their source of information was ChatGPT. For me, I thought, well, great, if this could work, less work for the tutor, because I don't have to spend time, preparing all these chapters and papers for them to read. And I implemented the intervention among 104 students, undergraduate students at SWPS University. There were 4 cohorts, 2 Polish-speaking, 2 English-speaking. As a data collection procedure, I decided to use the mixed methods to have a more comprehensive view of what's happening in this intervention. So I had observations in the classroom and a survey after the intervention. The findings. Again, I won't go into detail. They are explained in the paper, but generally, when I was comparing observable aspects, so the things that I could observe, there were differences, right? So for example, in terms of the chair layout, room arrangement, very different scenario. In the AI-assisted scenario, when students could use ChatGPT, the first 5 minutes, it was silence. People were just sitting with their mobile devices, not talking to each other, not even trying to allocate their group members. Only after 5, sometimes 10 minutes, they would get together. In the human-assisted, the first 5 minutes is a very lively moment. It's like a messy moment. People are moving around, moving chairs, trying to find out, do you agree with this motion or not? It's really very different picture. Also, collaboration and social interaction, very different, because in the AI-assisted scenario, students were just focused on their mobile devices, limited eye contact with other students. Also, there was no discussion. In the human-assisted learning, people have to discuss and allocate the work. In the AI-assisted, they just ask all the questions on the phone, and they were not even interested in discussing with other group members. Also, another big difference in the human-assisted learning environment, I as a tutor, I am often asked for support, for help, for explanation, They ask me about the materials I prepared. We have some kind of feedback interaction. In the AI assisted, they had the answers. They knew everything. The ChatGPT told them everything. There's very, very few questions for me. And sometimes what was uncomfortable, they asked me about the answer from ChatGPT, and I wasn't able to comment because I wasn't even able to verify whether this answer was correct, what is the source. So very different. Preparation speed. We are told AI great, everything can be faster. Yes, but what is the advantage? Yes, the AI assisted learning students were finishing after 15-20 minutes. They were saying, yes, we're done, we are ready. In the human assisted, 30 minutes allocated is never enough. They always need more time because it's lively, because there are a lot of interaction, because they want more. And here they already have the answers, so they don't need to wait. Presentation skills. I didn't give them any kind of like instruction how to present. It was like open. But in the AI assisted with the ChatGPT, they were basically reading from their mobile devices. And very often when I would ask like, okay, so what does it mean? What do you mean? They would like, I don't know. Or sometimes there were words used which they didn't understand. They were just reading. It was like reading somebody else's opinions. Even though in the human assisted, yes, people were making mistakes, but they were also making jokes. They were making references to personal experiences. It was much, much more rich in format. So anyway, more details in the paper. In terms of the survey question findings, very quickly, after the intervention, I asked students, and I used the 5-point Likert scale because I also wanted to find out this undecided student percentage. And yes, in 38% of students believe that ChatGPT improves classroom discussions and interactions. But as you can see, 45% were undecided. It was the time of ChatGPT 2, very early intervention where we were just learning about this new tool, and it's clear students didn't have a clear opinion about it. However, when I asked them about to what extent ChatGPT provides valuable insights and perspectives during class activities, majority, 62%, confirmed that yes, they believe that, and also 65% of students were satisfied with using ChatGPT in that particular classroom. So I think it's positive. However, when I ask whether they think it should be used on a regular basis, we can see that they are not very big fans. Only 1/3 think it should be used on a regular basis. 1/3 don't know. So I would be very cautious in adopting this kind of tool. Anyway, on the basis of these findings, I try to find a way, because I'm a big fan of technology and I really want to use ChatGPT. I like this tool and I think we can benefit, but there need to be a way so we as humans don't lose. So I was trying to compare what actually happens in this human-assisted and AI-assisted learning process. And what I found and illustrated in this model is that the learning process is different when we use AI. Because when students use ChatGPT, they learn how to ask questions, how to write prompts, how to read and understand the answers from ChatGPT, how to edit, how to select. Yes, that's a new skill. And to be honest, it's very important skill in today's world. There are even books already written about how to write effective prompts. We need to learn how to do it. But the problem is that if you solely adopt this model with AI, then who is analyzing, applying, comparing, calculating? It's not the student. It is OpenAI. So the OpenAI is performing all these functions that are very important for our cognitive development. When we have the human-assisted learning process, we as tutors, we provide the materials, the case studies, the instructions, the feedback, and this is crucial learning input, which students later can remember, can understand, can analyze, create, and so this is something different in the learning process between the two processes. So I was trying to find out, okay, so we can't just live with such a pessimistic view that if you use AI, we are losers. No, there is hope. And I tested in my classes. Basically, I really promote this concept of combining the two approaches. So let's start with the traditional teaching, okay? So let's start with students, asking them to generate something human, okay? So let's ask them to apply, to analyze, to create without AI, without even looking at the mobile devices. Once they have the human-generated solution, calculation, answer, a creative proposal, okay, then let's feed this outcome to AI. Only this human-generated outcome. Let's feed it to AI. And then let's ask AI not a general question about, okay, calculate this for me or give me an answer. For example, I teach business plan. Today, I don't know what to do with my students because they can ask ChatGPT, write me a business plan, a creative idea, yes? The ChatGPT will do it. We teach one semester, but ChatGPT can do it in 5 minutes. So it's really important to see what are we losing and what should we focus on. So once we have the effective learning process of asking the right questions, writing effective prompts, then we can ask AI to evaluate our human-generated output. Okay, we can ask, okay, this is my proposal for a new business plan. What do you think? Okay, and we ask AI, and then we have this synergy, then we have enhancement, then we have more, then we as humans don't lose. And that's what I strongly believe. But it's not so easy. So to summarize, AI-assisted model, yes, it can promote new skills such as writing prompts, editing the output from ChatGPT, interacting with ChatGPT. It is important skill today, and I think our students must really learn how to do it. However, if we just focus on that, students might limit the development of their cognitive skills. And that's why we need to adopt our pedagogy. So we are looking for this enhancement. We are looking for synergies. And I believe that this Halo model, it promotes both the development of the old traditional cognitive skills, and plus on top, we can learn how to work with AI. Thank you. And I'm really interested in your experiences with AI.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, the time is running very, very fast, but maybe we can have one question, okay? And later, and other questions for colleagues, and for colleagues, please give through the coffee break and lunch break, okay? So please, one.
It'll be very fast. Maybe instead of the AI assessing the students, do it the other way around. Choose different AIs and ask the students to compare them and choose which is the best one. And after that, the humans are, evaluating the AIs, not the other way around. So therefore, all the questions, all the answers are there at the AI or in the AI, but the other way around, they need to evaluate them.
Yes, I mean, there are many ways to actually experiment with it. However, what I see is that very often we don't know how to use it, and because it's so easy to ask any kind of question and you get straight answer, that I see that students rely on that. So they, for example, recently I've noticed that the first year students, they very different approach to technology. Third year students. These students had ChatGPT in high school. So for example, if I ask them to do research without ChatGPT, using just, for example, Google Scholar, or they don't know how to do. They don't know how to do research, like basic internet research. Because they only know how to write a question to ChatGPT. So they tell me about 10 minutes struggling, frustrated. No, I cannot find this information. Let's find it. You've got electronic databases. You've got internet. How can you not find this information? So that's what I'm saying, that if tell the students that if they are using AI without actually reflecting what is asked of them, they brain, then I think we might be in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So once again, applause for the colleague, okay? And yes, 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 please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so many duties at one time. So we are welcome Lorella and Francesca, yes, for the presentation about embed assessment in higher education, a case study. And after that, we will have lunch break. So please do not forget to talk with our colleagues and give the questions, because we're raising a lot of questions after the presentation, but unfortunately we do not have so many time to have huge discussions. So please, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much. We are Lorella Giannandrea and Francesca Gratani from the Faculty of Education of Macerata University. And this presentation explores a case study on implementing embedded assessment in a university course, focusing on innovative approaches to enhance student learning and engagement. As we already know, assessment has a major influence on student approaches to study in higher education. And it's very important for us that we use an assessment method that enables students to develop their learning capacities and to learn more, not only to be assessed from someone else. For the last 2 decades, researchers have been advocating a shift in assessment culture, such as that assessment actively promotes learning rather than measuring it. We can have a look to the need for shifting paradigms in assessment from a traditional assessment model, focused on knowledge and recall, through assessment for learning, assessment as learning, and sustainable assessment, helping students, giving them tools for evaluation, self-assessment, and autonomous judgment. We use this approach that we call embedded assessment that try to integrate assessment through the learning process, focusing on processes and on products. The challenges we meet in implementing new assessment methods are that, well, teachers always resist to change in general, but assessment seems particularly resistant to change because it's one of the most conservative features in university education. And also large-scale surveys of students identify assessment as the source of the greatest student dissatisfaction, because students often feel disappointed in the way teachers assess them. And of course, we are all aware of, we have a lot of constraints because of large classes and because of methods that are time consuming. If we want to deliver good assessment, we must invest a lot of time in revising, giving feedback, and so on. And when you have 300 students, you are not able to give a personalized feedback for each of them. Another challenge is balancing validity and authenticity. We know that authentic assessment is an issue, but it's difficult to have a validity, a valid assessment methods when you use authentic task and authentic assessment. In the Italian context, we are aware that the most frequent way of assessment is assessing knowledge, while we are aware that we desire to assess in a more complete way the students' learning, but basing on the doubling descriptor, not only knowledge and understanding, as our colleague said before, but also application of knowledge, making judgment, higher order abilities. And it's very difficult. So we try to implement alternative assessment techniques, just as problem solving, using authentic context for our students that are pre-service teachers, future teachers. It involves simulations and design of teaching sessions and so on, focusing on process and product, basing not only on written assignment tasks, but also on projects that they must develop and implement in the classroom, in the real classroom. So we try to embed the assessment in our teaching process, giving continuous feedback, proposing diverse assessment methods, and proposing different tasks, not only questions and answers, but project-based learning and other kind of tasks, and trying to develop different tasks and different moment of evaluation to reduce the exam anxiety. So they do not have only one final exam at the end of the course, but a lot of different challenging methods during the course activities. And our case study is based on the course of Foundations of Teaching and Learning, delivered in 2 academic years, 2022 and 2023. And it was a course of the first year students at University of Macerata. We used a balanced assessment approach, and we used different tasks, open responses, video analysis of recorded sessions, project construction, and the final oral interview for reflection and argumentation skills. As I already said, we use a distributed mode of assessment throughout the semesters. We use also embedded assessment during the workshop activities and giving them feedback. And we use a special activity, 1 minute paper called, to foster reflection and metacognition in each lesson we give. And I give the floor to my colleague.
Thank you. And yes, the course aimed to provide the theoretical foundations on didactics and focusing on teaching and learning processes specifically, and alternating theory and practice. Indeed, it consisted of 38 hours of lectures divided into 4 modules and 20 hours of compulsory workshop to put in practice what they were learning during the lectures. And as my colleague already said, we try to promote this embedded assessment, designing different types of tasks that I will detail in the next slides, and to promote also self-assessment, peer assessment, and peer learning through many group activities and constant individual reflection. So focusing on the lectures, each lecture followed a regular format. So we started with a review of the previous concept covered in the last lesson. And then after an overview of the daily schedule, we explained the new topics, alternating explanation and Q&A session to make the lesson more interactive. And then we usually proposed a small short activities in groups or pairs that was followed, of course, by a plenary reflection. And then each lesson ended with an individual reflection on the lesson just carried out by filling in a form. The form that we used was the 1 minute paper developed by Angelo and Cross, that basically consisted of really short form composed of a few questions that require take just a few minutes to be completed, and these forms allowed teacher to collect really useful, timely feedback on the lesson from the students, and at the same time allows the students to reflect on the key concept covered, the concept that they found more difficult to understand, and the aspect that they wanted to further explore in the next lesson.
Then also the workshop followed a regular format, but with some differences in terms of scope and organization. Indeed, the students were divided into macro groups coordinated by tutors that in turn were divided into small micro groups of 5 or 6 students. And after a modeling phase, led by a tutor, we proposed some, for each meeting, some group activities that consisted of a video analysis. So they have to analyze some short videos showing interaction between teachers and students in real classroom. And then, of course, another feedback in macro group and collective reflection. Then to focus on the assessment design, to give you some more detail on it, we try to distribute this assessment, proposing different types of tasks. So, and also to really support regularly the study of the students step by step. So after each module, we proposed a midterm test that was administered via Google Form and that was written, composed of closed and open-ended questions, except for the second one. And then we have a final workshop exam that was written and based on a video analysis like those that they previously carried out in groups, and a final oral exam in one of the exam sessions. The final grade, as you can see, was the results of the different scores achieved. And I want to highlight that when we design this assessment structure, we try to balance and give the right weight and importance to the different Dublin descriptors, so to the different processes involved in the student learning. I want to also highlight that students could know in advance not only, of course, the overall assessment design, but also all the test and exam structure, the assessment criteria, and the shared rubric that we use to assess their works. So moving to the results, we compared collected data on students' participation in midterm test, workshop completion, and exam performance in both 2 academic years, and we find out really promising and surprising results, especially if we consider that the midterm tests were optional. Here we reported some specific data coming from both academic years. Just to clarify, we have 2 different cohorts of students in the 2 years, because due to a new government regulation that changed the number of students that can enroll to attend this master's degree course. But you can see that we reached a higher number of students that took the test, all the 3 optional tests, and the workshop exam in the first session. Finally, for the final exam, we decided to compare our data with the data from another course that was carried out in the same semester of the same year, but implemented a traditional assessment, so no midterm test and just a final oral exam. And as you can see, we find positive results, because comparing the 2 courses, course 1 reached a higher number of students who registered and passed the exam, the final exam. So closing and concluding our intervent, we find a lot of positive feedback from the 1-minute paper by the students, because they told us that 1-minute paper stimulated critical thinking and self-reflection. Also, this regular studying and this regular assessment during the course helped to clarify and reinforce their learning. We are also aware that our students are future teachers, so we must invest in their professional growth. And this kind of attitude on reflecting on what they are studying and what they are learning is very important for us. Moreover, activities that involve cooperative learning is useful to develop a team-based learning attitude in future teachers. Well, we have some phrases from the 1 minute paper, but students emphasizing the value of regular reflection, the value of cooperative learning activities, and the personal growth and critical thinking skills that are developed in this kind of work. Of course, in our conclusion, we have to focus on challenges coming from the number of students. Large classes with increasing student number require innovative solution. We were able to develop such a kind of course because we have 6 teachers helping us. If only one teacher have to cope with 300 students, it's very difficult to reach these results. And we can also remark the effective course design, because you have to design very clearly your course if you want to embed assessment in your lessons. So embedded assessment show promises in enhancing student learning, but you have to integrating assessment in your daily lessons and in your daily activities. But this can create more authentic, meaningful, and effective educational experience for students, also in university settings. Well, we want to close, we have further research paths, including ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, in helping us to correct, to analyze student open answer questions. But it's for another conference.
Another conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And one question from the audience. Maybe somebody has questions for our presentators. No questions? Or everybody just thinking, you know, just, yeah, we have one. Yes, please.
Thank you. It was very interesting, and especially the way you conducted the way you had a control group, essentially, because that's what's very often missing with this sort of research. But I'm curious, and I understand this is ongoing research. How do you plan to measure what you mentioned at the end, so engagement and learning and self-regulation? Because obviously we know that this is not about passing or failing the final exam, and it's also difficult to compare an oral exam, which is completely summative, with the formative process, not just in terms of resources, but what's happening in the meantime and the learning outcomes that the students achieve. So how do you resolve that, and how do you measure what I think also matters in a shift to embedded assessment? Thank you.
It's very difficult to measure self-awareness and self-assessment, of course, but we have some hints coming from the 1 minute paper, because they always reflect on what they are doing, and we use their reflection just to understand how they feel about our courses and about other activities they are involved in the same semester and in the same course. So we actually don't have data specifically on this, but we can collect, because it's a point, the engagement and the self-awareness of what they are doing.
Thank you very much. And yes, I believe that the human touch always would be needed, even if we will use digital technologies for the students, and as well as reflection forms, because we need not only to do, but understand what we are doing and how we are doing the things. So thank you very much for this section. So enjoy the meal and see you then after that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.